come just leave me with nothing. Like a movie with a cliffhanger ending, and no sequel to answer my questions. I'm at the edge of my seat.
I guess I started surfing mainly because of my dad. I mean, he started surfing in like the 60s and 70s when it really first came to Britain.
And I feel this all the time. I love it how we lose our days.
And when I was younger, like 10 years old, we'd go to the beach together and I'd end up bodyboarding. And when I was about 15, 16, I picked up a surfboard and taught myself.
Late nights, making love, making love. I know you're something, now I'm trying not to.
I enjoy surfing not just as a sport, but like as a hobby and a pastime. It's a great way to get away from work, school, uni, and just relax and have fun.
Wow, the feeling you're wasting some time on. Losing a little love.
I mean, anywhere you go in the UK, the surfing community is just amazing, but especially in the southwest.
Innocent love till late night.
And the guys that run the shops, the guys that are surfing, everyone is just so friendly and so helpful, and there's just you make so many friends.
Lost our innocent love, innocent love.
I mean, one of the best things about the southwest is all the different festivals they put on throughout the year, in summer and autumn, all the different surfing competitions. It's just a great place to be and a great place to surf.
It goes back thousands of years. It's known that really sort of people like fishermen and those who were out in boats were first sort of looking at ways that they could come in safely across reefs and where waves were breaking. And then in time, obviously, they found that it was fun. And so actually started riding the waves in for fun. So that's sort of where it all kind of came from several thousand years ago.
It's too informal and too late and too early. All the rumors no one's ever heard are true.
When Captain Cook arrived in Hawaii in the late 1700s, they found that surfing was already a developed board sport when they arrived there. And you can imagine how exciting it must have been for them. A lot of the British sailors couldn't even swim, and now they were seeing all these naked natives all riding into waves riding into shore on these beautiful, blue waves. And some of the crew actually jumped overboard and had a go on the Hawaiian surfboard back in the late 1700s. There's evidence of surfing in the 1800s in certain parts of England, and it seems to be this really sort of close connection with Hawaii.
I've fallen deep, deep, deep in love with you.
We now know that two Hawaiian princes came over here in 1890, and they took their English tutor out and taught him how to surf in 1890. And that was in Bridlington on England's east coast. So, one of the most unlikely spots you could have chosen to have the birth, if you like, of surfing in Britain.
I wouldn't be the first to say it, and I'm not sure I ever really will. But I can write a song and play it, maybe let it reach your ears.
And in the early 1900s, that really started to sort of take off. And again, there were lots of quite wealthy people who could travel to places like Hawaii and Australia, where surfing was a bit more developed. And they came back here, saw the waves in Cornwall and Devon and in other parts of the UK, and thought, well, let's get out there and ride them. So that sort of initial wave of surfers really came from the influence of Hawaii and Australia and South Africa and places like that in the late 1800s and early 1900s. I think the attraction of surfing is just purely fun, and that goes right the way back to when Captain Cook first wrote about surfing in the late 1700s, and he described it as this supreme pleasure. And I think that's just quite simply the thing that draws us all back to it time and time again, and especially here in the UK.
And now outside your door, feeling like I did before.
Now, we have some fairly extreme weather conditions, from cold to wet and wild and windy to sunny and small, but we still get out there all year round and go surfing, and it's just purely the fun behind it all. I think it's important to have a museum devoted to surfing, because there's this whole hidden history, if you like. It goes right the way back to when Captain Cook sailors first jumped overboard in the late 1700s and had a go at surfing. We had these Hawaiian princes coming over here in the 1890s and paddling out and teaching their tutor how to surf as well. It was a massive thing in the early 1900s. In between the two world wars, for example, it was a really popular pastime with people going bellyboarding mostly, and the odd person trying stand-up surfing. And then really in the 60s, when modern surfing culture took off, it became this whole new industry that we know today. And it's really important to, as a beach culture, that we celebrate that. And we're not just looking at the past either, we're looking at current achievements in British surfing, things like Andrew Cotton going out and riding potentially the world's biggest waves and taking British surfing to a world stage. Surfing's had a massive economic impact. Here in North Devon alone, it's worth more than £50 million a year, and it's a similar amount in North Cornwall as well. So you're looking at £100 million a year of income, at the very least, generated by surfing as an activity. And that's now spread out all around the UK and Ireland. These people are surfing on every single coast. There are surf shops in lots of areas. There's a whole online business that's going on with selling kit online and that sort of thing. All the surf forecasting, people like Magic Seaweed who are based here in the UK and are now known globally for their surf forecasting. So, it's become this massive industry from what was just a fun pastime for people to do.
And if the things you choose come with some delay, and there isn't any use in trying to find the words to say, well, it's all the same. And if you build something, only break it down, well, you might as well not build it, at least not on solid ground. It's all